When we talk about spirituality, often money as a subject is taken in a very negative context. It is always considered as a thing that you are going to sacrifice your spiritual life for, or it is not needed or important in the spiritual path. But based on how I have seen the life in the last 27, 28 years, I have a different point of view on the same. And considering that I am actively working on my spiritual life, I have a different take on money, which I'm going to share in this video. Before going into the aspect of what money can do, let me paint a picture of what lack of money can do. So while growing up, my family had faced a lot of financial struggles. I remember when I was in school, there were reminders that my parents had to constantly get through me, by the way, of to pay the fees on time and stuff like that. It continued till college, in tuitions as well. There were times after college when I had just started my first job where I was getting paid what 13,000, 14,000 per month, where my mother had to go inside the kitchen and look at what is available for her to cook, because most of the things were empty. They were not, they were boxes that were available for grains, but the grains were not there. So she had to make with whatever was available. Even when she had to get vegetables, she would pick potato or cauliflower or something which were comparatively cheaper and more fulfilling in the stomach, so that the rest of the family is at least fed well with whatever there was. So that was a very difficult time. I also remember, like, when I was staying away from home during college time, uh, I barely had like 50 rupees in a day to eat food. So I used to eat a lot of street food, because that's how I would get the quantity that was required to feel satiated. And when all this is going on, when you don't know how you'll pay the next month's rent, or how you're going to pay the electricity bill, or in fact what you are going to cook tomorrow because you don't have much left, you can't sit with your legs crossed, eyes closed, and be present. You cannot, you cannot meditate. You cannot do alternative nose breathing and do pranayam when all that you can think is how to get out of this situation, how to make sure that your family is all right, how to make sure that everything is taken care of. It just is not possible. So you can try to be spiritual, but it won't be helpful. It won't take you towards the goal of spirituality, which it's good that you have in your mind, but it is not practical enough yet, considering the life situations that you are in. And this is not something new. Actually, it's mentioned in ancient Indian texts also. The four Purusharthas, Artha being one of the four Purusharthas, which is basic four pillars of human life, Artha. And Artha is basically the foundation on which all other Purusharthas stand. Moksha, let's say moksha is the roof. You cannot build a home with directly the roof and no foundation. First, you need that foundation, which is your Artha, taken care of, so that you can start thinking of other things in life. So money becomes an important aspect also, because when you are constantly thinking about rent, constantly thinking about paying bills, surviving, paying loans, etc., etc., your nervous system is technically living in a survival mode. How do you think that that tense nervous system can actually just become present in the moment? It is technically very difficult when there is no security which is available to the body to experience, to the mind to be in. So does it mean to just keep earning money? Well, no. First we need to take a look at what money actually brings with it. It brings cars, it brings home, it brings bikes, it brings gadgets, luxuries, everything. Yes, it does bring that. But the most important thing which I have experienced that money brings with it is presence, is the ability to give you security, is the ability to allow you to be in the present moment, to just be. when you know for a fact that there is enough for you, and you have taken well, that you have taken care of your family, of your bills and everything. It is at that moment when actually the foundation of your spiritual practices will start showing up. Even when you're meditating, when you were in that situation versus the situation where you have good enough money taken care of, you'll start seeing the difference between your spiritual practices as well. You will become more presence, and that presence is actually earned with the security that you have earned with the money that you have made. But here is a trap that you need to be very careful of, that money is also a means to an end. It is not the end. What happens is that even if with the right intention we set up our financial goals and we start moving towards it, we get in the trap of keeping up with the Joneses. And when that trap starts, there is no end to it. Because today, let's say you purchased a new car, there is your neighbor who has purchased a better car or their second car. Then you're thinking of purchasing a new car after like 3 4 years. So you got that, but there is a new neighbor who has purchased a new home or a new land. Then you start thinking about that land and blah 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 blah. It keeps on increasing. Your goalpost keeps on pushing further and further and further. So the thing to keep in mind, well, when thinking about money from a spiritual perspective, is to know your enough number. It may be different for me, for you, for different people. It may be different. That's completely fine. But at least knowing and realizing what your enough number is, and then designing your life, your work, your investments, and everything towards that enough number. Because once you know that enough number, you have a clear intention of why you are making money. And the moment you reach that number, you will be at a different level of ease. I have personally not reached there, but at the same time, I have had realizations that more closer I am reaching towards that number, the more organized my life is towards achieving that number, the better and more relaxed I'm feeling. And the more relaxed and better the present that I'm feeling today, it's actually translating in my spiritual practices also. My meditation is going deeper, my spiritual practices are going deeper, my time that I am able to be consciously aware of everything that I do is increasing the more I'm closing towards that enough number. Hopefully, the moment I reach that enough number, I think that practice will deepen more and more, but I don't know yet. But what I've seen is that the steps that I've taken so far from like 4 5 years ago when I was in that situation versus this situation, everything has changed. When they say your daily life has to be a meditation, there are moments and glimpses where I'm able to feel that, because there is no pressure, uh, there is no fear of how to pay the next month's rent, or there is no sadness to see your own mother in the kitchen thinking what to make because there is not much left, versus knowing that there is enough food to last for the next 3 to 4 months. So these are the things that make a lot of difference. It actually calms down your nervous system, gives you a sense of security, and through that your spiritual practices deepen. So the thing so the thing to keep in mind is that wealth actually becomes a foundation for you to build the other aspects of life on. And once that is taken care of, you can go deeper into spiritual practices, your work, your art, anything. Because the thing that you have earned along with the money is the ability to just be present. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the video, please like and subscribe for more such content. And I would like to know your thoughts. So comment below your perspective on this whole topic. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye bye.